Ever wondered how cool animations go from this Genga line art, weirdly shaded stuff to actual finished animation? This video is going to break down how to color anime style like the anime studios inside Clip Studio Paint. It'll be best if you're familiar with Clip Studio Paint, at least to a degree, especially if you've watched the last two videos. I'm My Manga, the creator of Apple Black, published and serialized on Saturday AM, books and stores worldwide, with an upcoming video game that you can wishlist on Steam right now. Here to share some animation secrets and subscribe so you miss nothing. Let's go. These are the animation folders in question, already done in order, linked to the responding animation cells, and inside the animation folders we have folders that are linked to the individual cells, all in the timeline window, and this is the layer window. If you've been watching the channel, you're already familiar with how to animate in Clip Studio Paint. You know what all these lines means and colors and where they lie inside these folders. The previous animation videos kind of break those down. So I'm assuming you already know a little something before we come into how to actually color. I've done videos in the past showing how to color in Clip Studio Paint for animations, but today's video will go over an approach that is more common with animation studios specifically. The orange lines are for the highlights, the blues are for the shadows, but you want to know what the flat colors are going to be. What's the color going to be in the shaded area versus not? And usually that will come in a character design sheet that's shared around in animation studio. Here's an example of my character Sano, and we'll be focusing on a time skip version. If you're familiar with my series Apple Black, you have the swatches here. We know what it's going to look like, shaded and with some highlights, and then we work off of that where we use an eyedropper tool, shortcut I, and then you have this option of whether you want to just click where you display, which is what we want really, especially if it's a flat layer. But if it wasn't on flat layers and you want to select on a specific layer, then you go on pick up color from layer. But we want obtain display color, and then we pick what we want. For the red garment, we'll actually come in here and we'll fill that in the lighter parts. And then for the shaded part, we'll put it where you can imagine. Essentially, we'll be doing that for each individual folder inside the animation folders for the respective places. So as a quick demonstration, let's do the front hair. And inside that, we open animation folder. We go to, say, one of the folders. And let's pick the first one. Inside that folder, we want to create a layer. And it'll be a raster layer. You can't fill colors with vector layers. Then we go to the time skip image with the character design sheet. Another way you can actually do this is to come over here to your regular animation canvas. And right here under subview, you can import the image. Let's search for it. And then you can actually use the eyedropper tool. You can zoom in and click on it, but we're just gonna stick with the canvas. For coloring the hair, I'll go with this, even though that's not exactly what's here with the canvas. Here with the canvas, we did more of a flat black. But for anime and the style I wanna do, I'm gonna go with something lighter. Then in this window, for this new layer we've created inside the folder, in the animation folder, for front hair D1, that's the first cell. You can label it color if you want. Keep hitting shortcut G until we get a paint bucket tool or the fill tool, and then we have refer other layer. That way it's reading everything else. Now you can see it's above the line work. If you don't want that, you'll just pull it down. You want the color actually underneath those lines. You could manually fill because there'll be some parts filling in where you're going to have issues depending on the fill settings you have on. Another option to get this would be to use shortcut W to select, again, refer all layers, and select the areas you want, and then hit the fill tool icon over here. That could work. Or you can just manually do it, but obviously that'll take a little bit more time. But based off of how your layers are set up, you find what works best. Then I'm going to use the eyedropper tool to get the darker version, the shaded version. And then I'm going to go into those spots. Shortcut G, refer other layers. And there you have it. Now, because area scaling is on 0 in this case, it's kind of going beyond that line, which is why that line exists in the first place. So we can experiment with it and maybe reduce the area scaling to -1, undo, and then hit it again. And now you can see it's before the lines a little more. Hit shortcut P, pick a tool of your choosing, and then you can manually put it in there if you want. Beware of what layer you're on, because you don't want to start coloring in the wrong layer. Again, I can use shortcut W and just select the parts I want. Right now, that's actually working the best, quickest. And I just hit enter until we have what we want. You see these little particles, these little parts might have issues there. You just manually fill those in with a pen or something. Now for the highlights in the hair, eyedropper tool, and then we can get the light version of the hair. Then we come back, W, select, hold shift if you want to select multiple. If you feel the need to expand, you can expand by 1 pixel. I'm not going to do that, so Command Z, Control Z, and then just hit the fill tool, and voila. You can then turn off this layer if you want, so you can then have a clearer view of how it's going to look. That's the line out layer, so that stays on. But the shading and lighting lines, the lines that let you know where the shading goes and the lighting goes, I can just turn that off and then you can see better. Let's do it for another part. And underneath everything, we create the layer for color. Again, use the eyedropper tool to get the flat. Come back in there, keep track of what it actually covers. It's just those parts. And so those are the parts you want to focus on coloring. So for the flats, so I forgot to do this on the first one. Make sure you're on the right tool. I was on the pencil for a second. If you keep hitting P, then it'll give you the pen. If you hit P again, it'll give you a pencil. I want the pen, G pen, or the real G pen. I prefer the real G pen. It just looks a little bit more natural. Sometimes these lines I'm putting in, you could have done them with the lines indicating what parts to shade. You could have had red lines to just let us know, whoever know on the animation team, where the coloring kind of ends. And that way it'll kind of help with the filling in. But we'll just manually put it in here. But we know what the flat is. Now we can hit W, refer to all layers, hold shift, and just select multiple parts. This time I'm actually going to leave the highlights and the shading parts and just going to fill in just the parts that aren't highlights or shading to see how that looks. Not everybody's case is going to be like mine. Not everybody's pages are going to be set up in the same way. But the way my pages are set up, I then have to go in manually and get the spots that the fill didn't. And making sure to go overlapping lines that the hair should overlap. See, the lines for the head is behind. So anytime I draw those lines, they will go over the line art for the head that's on a separate animation. See, like so. Sometimes if it's going to make it easy, you can literally turn off the head altogether if it'll make things easy to see. And honestly, it would. Anyways, we have that eyedropper. Now we get the shaded part. Well, not that part because that part is light. And then we fill. But it doesn't look right. We have to fill in the spots that it didn't get to. And if you want, you can now turn off those blue lines if it'll help see things better so we know what parts we're missing for real. Now, for the highlights. Depending on how you organize your lines and your layers, this process could be easier, faster, smoother, but this is just an example. It's all on the same layer to save time, as you can see me doing here. So sometimes I can use the eyedropper tool literally on here to find what I'm looking for. So I need the dark parts, I can just grab from here and do what I need. Sometimes in After Effects, even though we're shading like so, we can make all these colors change and look like he's in a dark room or a blue room or a red room or whatever the case may be. That is post-production. That's in After Effects. You know, it's where a different kind of magic happens, but that's a video for another day. And that's how we've put in the hair for the second cell. Going back to the first cell, forgot this part. Sometimes I might want to fill in the whole thing and then turn on the lines so I know where the other part goes and then turn it back off. Now, if we turn back on the animation folder for the head, we filled in for cell 1 and 2 for the hair. There's a whole team that is out there making sure that there aren't any errors, there aren't any holes, everything is filled in correctly. The list goes on. We're a one-man army over here. But you keep doing this for literally every folder. There's a whole color team. You do it for the front hair, the garment here, the head, obviously, and then the back hair. And then after that, when all is said and done, you have your full animation. Essentially, you will be finding your colors from the swatches from the character design sheet. Here is just a simplified version, but usually the character design sheets used in those animation studios are a lot more elaborate and the swatches are a lot clearer to where everybody in the team knows what to pick or to eyedrop. Let's try filling in for the head, and this time I'm going to turn off the front hair so we can see it clear. Thankfully with the head, he's not doing much. He's just there looking. I don't even have animation for him blinking actually. So really we're just worrying about one cell for the head. Again, you create a new layer for the color. You can even turn off more distractions so we're just focused on the head. Here, we're just gonna fill in what we need filled in. Use the magic wand there, but then cleaning up the edges that need to be cleaned. The eyelashes are gonna be a flat black. Usually a flat black in most anime anyways. You fill in the quickest way you know how. If you're familiar with Clip Studio Paint, you probably have your own approach. I'm gonna turn off the garment as well. So again, here you can see how the neck is left open, just like the front hair had parts left open, but you can close it This way it will make filling in a lot easier. Now for the skin, which I don't think I had a swap for the skin, so we can just grab from here, because why not? Use that to fill it in. And like I said, I think it's best that I fill in the whole thing. It's just easier for me that way. Get all the missed spots. Then I do grab for the eyes, which I think is this one. Sometimes you don't think the white is a color, but it is. Again, those lines make it easy for you to select parts with a magic wand or something, and then you hit fill, and then you're good. Eyes. Filling in the color for the tattoo. All right, this part is just where light hits. So it's just a shine in the eyes. Usually that can be a flat white. In some cases, you could have that on another layer, a separate layer, in case you want to animate that light on something else, which we could. And so let's have it there and just turn it off temporarily for now. That way this flat color, we can actually color underneath it. Let's imagine the shading is something somewhere there. Again, you fill in however you want to fill in the appropriate places, whether it be with the magic wand or a fill tool. Same for the eye colors. The shading over there. The highlights in the dark hair. And now let's turn off those lines so we can see better and see what parts aren't filled in correctly. We got most of it actually. We got most of it correctly. I already had a layer there that was confusing me, so I had to turn that off. It was actually this. So I knew something was weird. But the color with the white is this one. And then that's really that. Then if we zoom out and we turn on that front hair, as you can see, it's cell 1, the folder linked to cell 1. And then we have some of that shading multiply on, which is causing a little bit more confusion, but we have it turned on. So if you want to correspond with the shading over there, you could actually find what it is based off of, you can turn on the lines if you want to, but fill those in. It could cause confusion with the shading because then you really just need to know how it's organized. The problem with this is that now if I put a line overneath it all, is going to be over the lines from the head in the separate animation folder. So this might not be the way to go actually. So I'll just turn that off and turn that layer off. But if we did want to shade those parts of the face, it might actually be better to do that in the head layer, the part that's really not animated. But then we would be animating the shadow to match the shape of the hair as it floats in front of the face. Meaning that even though the head cell is just one cell, we might have to break it into 12. So basically duplicate what's there just so we can match it to what we're going to make. So that's 2. Don't mind, all of that will be renamed in a second. We just need 12 of them. And so we come here, link to 2, link to 1A, and just link to everything really, in order. All right, now the naming convention is a little weird, so we can just rename that under animation, edit track, and rename in timeline order, and it'll automatically make it 1, 2, 3, 4 to 12, and do the same thing over here. So now, even though it's 12 cells of the same thing, but now on cell 1, we can add to that first layer. First we go up to the hair, and we can go turn on those layers we turned off, just so we know what parts to fill. We might not need the multiply color of it. Then back in cell 1, but in the head animation folder under color, now it makes more sense to fill in those spots. Again, you can use the eyedropper tool, get whatever color you want. Now we can turn off what's above and just correct what needs to be corrected. All of this will be the dark color version of it instead. And there you go. To put it in perspective, if we turn off that front hair animation folder, you'll still have that. It'll look weird, but it's not supposed to be seen that way anyway. So you keep doing this until you have pretty much all of it colored. Bottom line, especially if you've watched the last 2 animation videos in Clip Studio Paint, as long as you understand the intricacies of that, you understand how the layers work and linking layers to cells, linking multiple layers that are in one folder to a cell. You know how to link cells to different folders, even though they're already linked to something else. You know how to link empty cells to things. You understand blending modes, filters, all of that. You know how to fill colors. Ultimately, everything you see me doing here, you should be good. Because all I'm doing now is going to every folder and having a color layer inside that's pretty much a flat of every hue and color necessary to fill the character in. At the bottom, you can see I expanded the timeline and I reused cells. So even though it's cell 1, you can kind of have cell 1 again, kind of manually continuing the loop. But then I added 2 new cells, 5A and 6A, replacing 5 and 6 the second time. So I can add a blink, one where the eyes are almost closed, and another where it's fully closed, all in the head animation folder. If that was confusing and you want a tutorial on that, you can let me know in the comments below. I'll do a simple blinking tutorial if this does at least 2K likes. Sometimes it will be easier to fill in these colors if the line art was not just vector, but it was also done with anti-aliasing. See, that's a real G pen and that's a regular G pen. Where you see the anti-aliasing there, if you hit the first one, that's where all the edges kind of look like stairs. And when you have line art with that, it's just much easier to use the fill tool. You'll still have parts to manually fill in, but less so. After all of it, I can even put a green screen behind it and do with this whatever I see fit. But ultimately, we are done with this hair loop. Don't forget to support the Patreon, support this video, as well as My Manga Apple Black, available on Webtoon and Saturday AM. Go wishlist the video game. Can't wait for you guys to see what we're cooking. Leave a like and hopefully go smash the subscribe button and hit the bell so you stay notified each time I upload absolutely anything. Turn on all notifications. Watch more videos. It's White Manga, and I'm Audi 9000.